Ashe, Lot, and Hotep. This is The Truth May Hurt, and my name is Raymond Witch, and I'll be your host. We want to kind of breeze through a few things today. I haven't really put together a real presentation. I just want to go over some things and use some examples that I experienced in the last week. Well, in the last week, more than the last week, I was under the weather, wasn't feeling well. But after recovering, I want to tell you and use a couple of examples to show you a couple of things that I really don't need presentations for. But we want to always start with a visual of how we come to believe, or the limitations of what we believe. Okay, it is not wise to believe that everything that we believe is all there is, or the only thing there is to know is what we know. Okay, so I use this example that Dr. Ray Hagen uses with this circle over here. I usually have something written over here, but I'm kind of breezing through this one. I've been sick and I'm just getting back on my feet, so I haven't had a lot of time to do a preparation like that. So I want to breeze through this. But we are limited. What this circle represents is our limitations related to what we know and what we believe. Okay. So inside this circle represents the realm. I'm not going to read this to you. You can read it. I'm just going to narrate it. But if you make a circle and you realize that within the circumference of this circle, it is determining what I believe and what I know. And there are limitations because there is more outside the realm of my circumference of my circle and understanding that than what's inside. And where we have problems is we will shut down anything that is outside of our circle, outside of our realm of consciousness, exposure, education, experiences. And we will shut down other people like, man, you don't know what you're talking about, because it's outside of our circle. So as I'm doing this and giving presentations, I'm asking all that come, especially those that, I'm not going to say stuck in Christianity. I'm going to say they still function in Christianity. Okay, I'm not going to insult anyone, Why? Okay. Christianity was very important to me when I was in the church. It was the center focus of my life and these kind of things. So, I'm not here to insult anyone or shame, belittle anyone. I don't have to give a presentation like that. Okay, I'm still one of you. And you're going to see that in this presentation. I'm still one of you. Okay? And once you realize that, I don't have to give up everything that I've been taught and, I'm going to go to hell if I change. We don't need to be caught in a fear of getting outside of our realm of comfort and understanding. Okay, and people will punish you. Oh, you're going to hell. Listen, in this presentation, and it really took me 2 days to get myself together enough to give you this presentation, okay? Because I've been cracking up, okay? Not laughing at anybody, but because I'm outside of the circle, I'm looking at it saying, wow, okay? And you'll understand more. So I don't want to distract over to what I'm going to show you, but you'll understand when I show you, okay? So all I'm asking people when they come to The Truth May Hurt is to come prepared to hear things, see things, and be shown things in a way that you've never seen them, heard them, or been shown before. Okay? That's it. Okay? So we're not going to make this hard. Okay? But I really had to get myself together because briefly, I have a very good friend, childhood friend, all of our lives. Okay? And he is one of the really, right now, he's the only childhood friend that I have that we can openly have biblical conversations. Okay? This brother is a staunch Christian and vicious Christian. And when I say that, I'm not saying that oh, he's a vicious guy. No. He's going to defend Christianity. Okay? You should. A vicious Muslim is not a vicious person that's out here to destroy someone. They're destroying their faith. I mean, they're defending their faith. Okay? Just like you would defend your family. So I want to put it in context of what I mean when I say he's a staunch Christian. He's a vicious Christian that you're not going to get him with any BS. Okay? He's too biblically sound to be tricked because he knows the Bible. That's what I mean when I say he's a vicious Christian. You can't challenge him. Okay? That's what I mean. So we really spent a lot of time. Well, not a lot of time because he's in southern U.S. I'm right here in the middle of the East in Maryland. So it's an hour between our time differences, this, that, and the other. He's a husband, a great father, and these kind of things. So he has his life. So when he has time and we find time, we either text or we talk. So that's what I'm going to give you an example about. Okay, but we make it so difficult to communicate because we're talking about something, either politics, religion, or something that has that thin line that nobody's supposed to cross. That we can't sit down and talk. And that's what the Truth May Hurt channel is about. It's a platform that hopefully we can come together and have conversations, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, doesn't matter. Okay? Let's make this a healthy place that we can have these kind of conversations that my childhood friend and I have. And I've been getting myself together to try to give you this, because I don't want to give it in a way that some people might be able to come back and say, I'm mocking God or I'm mocking Christianity, any of those things. Okay, so I can do it now. All right, so that's what this circle represents. And I'm just using these two slides from a previous presentation because I haven't put a presentation together. So those who have not seen these slides, or maybe have seen, this is the first time you've seen a presentation from the Truth May Hurt, this slide represents, and this is very important. And if you read over here, the purpose of this slide, or one of the purposes of this slide, is to show people and bring the awareness to people that one of the things that we suffer from the most is loneliness. And one of the things that contributes the most to our mental and psychological health is feeling alienated, that nobody understands me, I can't talk to anybody, I'm alone. Okay, and it causes major problems in our lives. So this circle shows that it's impossible first for you to ever be alone because you have 2 grandparents, 4 great-grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, 32 great-great-great-grandparents, and on down the line. Because we have been separated from our spirituality, there's no connection. So this channel is about, most of all, reestablishing our spiritual connection with ourselves, with our Creator, and our ancestors. Those are your ancestors right here in this circle. If any one of them didn't make it, you wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. But this chain goes all the way back to the beginning. This only goes back maybe 15, 16 years. Okay, so you are special because you're here. Do you know you are one out of billions to make it? One egg, one sperm, that's you. You won the race. Okay. So read this and understand spiritually. Make this reconnection with your ancestors. You'll never ever be alone. Okay. That's what that is about. Okay. So let's get into what I'm trying to show you today. And it's very simple. All right. Most of the things that we stumble with, especially in religion and faith-based Abrahamic faiths, is misinterpreting, feeling that how can I say this? That the only way to see this is the way I see it, because the pastors preach this, or I've read this. Okay, so we want to take a look at a few things. All right, I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, everybody has heard Matthew 24:5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Okay. Now, when I saw this, I thought of a way to present it to my wife. Right? So she came home one day, and I was standing at the steps when she came in, and I said, honey, I need to tell you something. And I was very serious. My facial expressions were, this is something serious I need to talk to you about, right? And I said, it's something I need to tell you before you hear it, all right? I said, there are going to be people coming to you telling you and saying that I robbed, raped, and murdered a woman. She said, what? I said, listen, calm down. I said, you know me. Don't believe it, because they're going to deceive many. But you know me. Okay? She said, Raymond, why would somebody say? I said, don't worry about why people would say these things. All right? I want to tell you before you hear it. Okay, I didn't do it. She said, I know you wouldn't do anything like that. So now I'm biting my bottom lip, trying not to give it away, okay? And then I pull up Matthew 24:5, and I say, here, read this. I said, here, I'm gonna read it to you. I said, many gonna come in my name saying that I am Christ, and deceive many. And she said, you tricked me. I said, no, I didn't trick you. So I'm trying to show you how easy it is to misinterpret, mistranslate biblical text. Okay, now she perfectly understood. Let me show you something. When I was speaking here, all right, my batteries, okay, all right. When I was speaking in the first person, she understood it. When I told her, there are going to be people that come to you saying, I robbed, raped, and murdered a woman, she knew I was speaking in the first person. She knew I was talking about me. Okay? So if you look here, here's the definition of the difference between first person, second person, and third person. Right? First, second, and third persons are ways to describe points of views. First person is when you're talking about I, we, perspective. I did it. We did it. Okay? Second person is a person. Second person is the person you are talking about. The third person is he, she, it, they, perspective. He did it. That's third person. Okay, now here's why. Well, let me come here. Here's why Bibles can be easily mistranslated, because the reader is taking it out of context of the speaker. Okay. Let me finish this, and I'm gonna pull up one. Okay. So when we look at first, before King James Version came out, I think there were 11 English translations before King James Version. Look at how many, this might not even be all of them. Look at how many translations there are over here. Look over here. Look at how many different translations there are of the English Bible now. Okay. Right. And a lot of these versions do not correlate with each other. King James is the most scrutinized, perceived to be the most accurately translated Bible in the world. #1 bestseller. More people use the King James Version of the Bible, unless that statistic has changed, than any other Bible. So I reference the King James Version is because it's the Bible most churches use. Okay? So when we're looking at Matthew 24, verse 5, the international, okay, let's look at King James first. Speaking, this is all being spoken in the first person. You see down here? For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. In this verse, Jesus Christ is talking about himself. He's talking to his disciples, just like I was talking to my wife, telling his disciples, listen, you guys been with me every day for the last, 3 years or whatever it is. You know me. Don't let these people come to you fooling you, telling you that I am Christ. You know I'm not. That's the way that's written. Anybody tells you any different, tell them to show you that in the standard of what is first person, second person, and third person. They're going to find out that's written in error if they're trying to say that they're going to come saying that Jesus Christ is Christ, that Jesus is Christ. Here's an example. The New International Version has I am the Messiah in quotations. Right? So the New International Version is saying, for many will come in my name claiming that I, Jesus Christ, that I, not Jesus Christ, is the Messiah. Because when it's in quotes, it's saying that the people coming will be saying that. Got it? So when we're reading the Bible, we have to separate ourselves from ourselves to stop thinking that Jesus was talking to me. He wasn't. Got it? Okay? All right. So let me see, is there anything else I wanted to put on there? All right. I think you can see that. But just look down through here and you'll see what I'm saying. All right. Not being picky, being thorough. 10%. I'm going to be thorough. Should have been 50 years ago. Okay. I don't want to believe. I want to know. I don't deserve to believe. I deserve to know. You don't deserve to believe. You deserve to know. You see, now you know. All right? These translations are causing mass confusion. It's not my fault, and it's not your fault. Okay. Now, let me give you this example. Let's see, do I have it? This example. I'm going to use these two examples and then we'll move on. Okay, so when we're talking about, and I've shown you this before, okay, Acts 17, verse 22. The New International Version versus the King James Version. Okay, so when you're comparing Acts 17:22, the King James Version, and the New International Version, when it says, I see that in every way you are very religious, in the New International Version, but when you go to the King James Version, which is the first most recognized, scrutinized, I mean, you can talk to a lot of Christians. They'll tell you, if it's not in my Bible, I don't want to hear it. I look at the King James Version. Okay, well then, King James Version it is. It says that you're very superstitious, not religious. But when you are using two different Bibles and you're reading the same verses out of the same books, and one says religious and one says superstitious, they're interchangeable. That's the whole reason they retranslate it, for easier reading and understanding. So that's a problem, right? I'm gonna pull up, and then I'm gonna go to this next slide, but I'm gonna pull up something so I can show you. Let's do it here. What do I want? I want here's one that people are not going to like, but I've shown you this before. But since we're talking about how easy it is to mistranslate the Bible when reading it or having it read to you, whether it's by the pastor in church or doing Bible study, okay, is that if the reader or the listener loses the context of the writer's first person, second person, third person's message, you're lost. Okay, so Mark 9, verse 1, and it really doesn't matter which one of these versions you read. There is no real mistranslation in between the way it's written. There is a mistranslation into the way the reader interprets it. Watch. So start with the New International Version. And he said to them. Who is he? Well, first of all, okay, this is the book of Mark. So the four Gospels are Mark, Luke, Matthew, and John, right? Okay, so this is one of the four Gospels. It is out of the book of Mark. All of these books are written and it is recorded. This book is written according to Matthew, according to Luke, according to Mark, according to John. Even though it doesn't say John who, Mark who, Luke, Matthew who, they won't give them last names, but it's in accordance with the gospel that they proclaim they received from Jesus Christ. Okay, so when it says, and he said to them, that's Mark saying what Jesus said. So you read on in quotes, is what Jesus said. Truly, which means, okay, some of them say verily. And if you look down through here, okay, if you go down to King James Version, it says verily. Okay, if you look at the New International, it says truly. So verily and truly mean the same thing, right? So if you go back to Acts 17:22, don't try to tell me that superstition and religion don't mean the same thing. You can't have a double standard. I'm not trying to be tricky. I'm not trying to show people, oh, well, you think you're smarter than nobody else. It's not about that. Stop finding reasons to stay stuck in something that you don't even understand. I didn't understand this 5 years ago. It doesn't make me stupid, it makes me indoctrinated. Stick with me. We're going to break this down. Mark 9, verse 1. When he says, and he said, this is Mark. But when he puts it in quotes, it's no longer Mark. It's Jesus. What did Jesus say? He says truly, which is the same thing as verily. I, who is I? Jesus. Hail you. Who is you? Tells you next. Some who are standing here, you is the people standing there listening. To who? Mark? No, they were listening to Jesus. It's in quotes. You gotta break this down and keep it in the context of the speaker, not the listener. Jesus was not talking to you. When he says, truly, I tell you, a lot of people would take that and think, in church, would sit there and think, Jesus talking to me. Were you standing there? No, he wasn't talking to you. What did he tell him? Some of you standing here shall not what? Taste death before they see the kingdom of God has come with power. Listen, God has a very simple plan for very complicated people. We stop listening to those that don't understand and believe because they went to theology school, they went to the missionary, they've been preaching for 20 years. So what? If you miss this, you should turn in your preacher's badge. If you're going to try to stand up and dispute this in the context of first person, second person, third person, you're going to lose. Period. It's not about how smart I am. Somebody taught me. Think I figured this out all on my own? You're not. There are many pieces to this puzzle. Realize that you will never figure this out until you get the right pieces around you. Just the way it is. All right? So this is why I'm showing you this. Some things that are written were written poorly. Period. Listen, and people want to stand up and say, well, these are the smartest people. They were the smartest people then. They were the smartest people in that circle that they were around, within that circumference. They were the smartest people in here, but what about all these people out here? They dummies because they weren't in the circle? No. We got to come out of that. So just scan down through here and you'll see Jesus was standing there telling the people, listening to him, that some of you shall not taste death till they see the kingdom of heaven come into full power. And can't nobody show me one person 2,025 years old. Not one. Where are they? Not going to stick on it. I talked about that before, but I had not explained it in relationship to speaking, the speaker regarding first person, second person, third person. If you let somebody tell you there's something Jesus said, and he was talking to you, you need to go back and look at it again and keep it in the context of first person, second person, third person to see if he was talking to you or talking to somebody else. Because there's a lot of misunderstanding going on in trying to teach, preach, and understand the Bible. Okay, and it's not as difficult as what it is, but because we've been taught to rely on the preacher to teach you, what if he's wrong? And a lot of them are. It's just point blank period. Just a lot of them are. Okay, all right. All right, I went over that. Okay, let me go back here. So just keep in mind, one of the biggest problems that we have is believing that a lot of scriptures were talking to us that they weren't. And I just showed you that. You can do the same thing and look at Luke 21 verses 30 and 31. You'll see the same thing. All right. So, okay, let me go here. Let me show you this. Okay. All right. Okay. This is what I was saying that my friend and I were having some fun with. Okay. I was having fun anyway. Because when it comes to Mark chapter 16, verse 18, in the NIV, and I've spoken on this, when it says, these are the signs of those that believe, that these are Mark 16 verses 17 through 20. It starts off with, these are the signs that will accompany those who believe, right? They will be able to speak in new tongues. They will be able to pick up snakes, deadly snakes, and handle them, and no harm shall come to them. And then verse 18 says, they will be able to pick up snakes with their hands, and when they drink deadly poisons. Okay. So usually before I ask people, show people this verse, I ask them, do you believe in everything that Jesus said? Yes. Okay. All right. Do you comply and do everything Jesus says you should do and do? Yeah. I live my life by Jesus. Okay. Great. Well, when I show them this, I say, well, you're supposed to be able to have all of these gifts. You're supposed to be able to do these things. I see a lot of people doing these things, but I don't see anybody drinking deadly poisons. So my buddy, staunch Christian, when I kind of slid this in on him, he wasn't ready for it. He said, I don't believe that. I said, well, here it is, man. It's in the NIV. I said, now, it's not in the King James Version. King James Version say, if you drink deadly poisons, meaning that it's your choice. But it's still saying that if you choose to drink deadly poisons to show that you are a believer and you have these signs and these gifts, I'm going to protect you. So King James version and a lot of the other versions don't say when you drink. But the New International Version is saying Jesus is telling you to drink deadly poison. Okay. So he was defending it. I don't believe that. So then it got to the point that you can't dispute it. So he said, well, no, I ain't drinking no poison. Okay, so we laughed about it, had a little fun with it, and let it go. And a couple of days ago, we were talking, and it's every time since then, I'll spring on it. So you ready to drink that poison yet? Just having fun with a friend, And we've never had an argument. Never had an argument. And we don't have one now. Okay? I'm using this as an example, but it's not an example of a conflict. Okay? It's an example of two friends that, now every time we speak at the end, we tell each other that we love each other. Okay? So I don't want you to think that this is an issue. And that's why I'm using this as an example here, because we should be able to do this right here. Okay? We should be able to do the same thing. All right? So 2 days ago, we were talking, and let me pause for a second because I need to bring it up so I can recall it. Okay, so we were texting, we weren't talking. I got a text from him, and we discussed the flood and all of these things. I've shown him a lot of the things. Most of the things that I show you here, I send it to him. I'll either send him a text, or we'll talk on the phone, or I will send him a copy of the YouTube presentation, okay? And then we'll have our private thing going, okay? So after a few days of, him not being willing to, drink that antifreeze, okay? I think he hit me back and said, reference 1 Peter chapter 3, the whole chapter, because now I'm understanding that you're trying to justify Mark 16, verse 18, why you shouldn't have to drink this poison, okay? Because he's trying to tell me that I'm misinterpreting what Jesus said. I'm saying I'm not misinterpreting what Jesus said. Jesus said right there, when you drink deadly poison, I'm, making him feel this, you're not willing, you of little faith. You just told me you'll do everything Jesus said, but you're not willing to drink this deadly poison. Okay. So he hit me back with 1 Peter chapter 3. I read it. Then I got another hit back with 1 Thessalonians 4, which is telling me how bad hell is. Hell is hotter than hell is worse than the Roach Hotel, and all of these things. And it was this Revelations 14. Then he used Revelations 14. Then I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on the earth. And I'm reading these things and I'm saying, what does this have to do with Mark 16, verse 18? Okay, nothing. Then I get Acts 28. Paul, the fire and the vipers and all of this boogeyman. And I'm like, what does this have to do with what Jesus said? Okay, I want to bring this in and then we're going to end. The Dead Sea Scrolls. Gotta bring this up. Let me see, is that here? Okay. Dead Sea Scrolls. The reason we need to talk about this and the reason we need to understand this, because how important it is. Why is it important? The Dead Sea Scrolls, not just the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Sumerian tablets, the Emerald tablets, the Emuna Elish, the Epic of Gilgamesh, all of these ancient Egyptian records and writings are very important, and here's why. What's in the Bible came from those books, period. Okay? If you were to go into a bookstore and you say, I'm looking for the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Emerald tablets, the Sumerian tablets, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Emuna Elish, and what section are these books in? They would not send you to the religious section. You can't have these books over here. These would be more in the, don't quote me on this, but they would probably be in the maybe voodoo or witchcraft or boogeyman or something outside of religion or godly section. Now, if I can show you things that are in the Bible, some of it quoted word for word, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, in the Emerald Tablets, in the Epic of Gilgamesh, in this Sumerian tablets, in the Amoni Elish. If I can show you things that are in the Bible in these books, then why isn't the Bible over there in those boogeyman, voodoo, witchcraft sections? Why is it over here in the religious section? See, because they know that most people that are religious, and you tell them that the book they're looking for is in the voodoo and witchcraft, they're not even going over there. They're not going to put their hands on it. Okay, they're just going to believe, accept, and proclaim everything that's in the Bible. Okay, so if you remember in previous presentations, I mentioned to you that I studied with two pastors, two Pentecostal pastors, for 6 weeks, 12, 24 hours a day. And I'm not kidding you when I say I studied with them for 12, 24 hours a day. It's a great experience all the way up until the end. Okay? And for the first 5 weeks, all we studied was Bible, because that was their comfort zone. Okay? They felt they had all of the experience in that Bible. Well, when you wake up from this nap they had us on, we have to be like a lifeguard. You know, a lifeguard, you know what they do? They monitor the water. They'll sit on a high chair around a pool, or they'll be on a high chair on the beach on the ocean. And what's their job? To save people that are drowning. Okay? Their first thing to do is to throw out a life raft and try not to get in the water. Okay? But if they have to dive in, they have to dive in and save you. Well, once you come out of, I'm a believer, you have to be a Bible guard. Okay? You have to be able to dive into the Bible and save them with their own scripture, the things that they never saw, understood, like I'm showing you. Okay? And it tears them up, because how can I be so wrong? I'm a pastor. Okay? Doesn't matter. You know, that doesn't get you an A on a test because of your title. You get an F like everybody else if you fail. Okay? So, after 5 weeks, being the Bible guard, diving into that Bible and showing them things like, well, I've never seen this like this. Well, you know, life is tough. Get a hard hat. Okay. So, in the last week, I said, listen, we just can't stay stuck in the Bible. I've given you 5 weeks in the Bible, and I've shown you discrepancies in the Bible. I've shown you contradictions in the Bible. I've shown you things that you just didn't understand. I said, but I need to show you where things in the Bible came from. She said, what do you mean? I said, because I can show you Jesus Christ in the Dead Sea Scrolls. I can show you the epic flood of Genesis in the Epic of Gilgamesh. And I started saying things that, you know, these things are in books that are 5,000 years older than the Bible. Well, the first thing she said was, I've never heard of some of these books. And I'm like, oh, okay. I said, okay. So I sent her a copy of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do this. Okay. I'll attach this so you can have it. Okay. I sent her a copy of the Dead Sea Scrolls. I said, listen, here's a copy of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay. I said, we've been in the Bible for 5 weeks. I said, I want you to spend a little time with me in the Dead Sea Scrolls. I can't really see. It's the first time I pull this up on my computer, and it's hard for me to see it. I don't want to waste time. So anyway, I sent her a copy of the Dead Sea Scrolls. She's down in Texas. I'm here. She and her husband. I said, listen, I don't remember exactly where it is in the Dead Sea Scrolls. I said, but the exact same story that's in the Bible of Jesus Christ is in the Dead Sea Scrolls. I said, and I'm pretty sure it's in between pages 300. It's in between pages 300 to 400 or 400 to 500. So I said, you and your husband take 300 to 400. I'm gonna take 500, 400 to 500. And whoever starts reading about Jesus Christ first, tell the other what page they're on and we'll read it together. So that's how it started, okay? So it's silent. It's completely silent on the phone for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I heard her say, wait a minute. I said, what's up? She said, Mr. Raymond. She said, wait a minute. I'm reading about Jesus Christ in here. I said, no, sister. You're not reading about Jesus Christ in the Dead Sea Scrolls. She said, but Mr. Raymond, it's not saying his name, Jesus Christ, but it's his same story, word for word. And it messed her up. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you go in the Dead Sea Scrolls, in between pages 370 and 400, you're going to start reading the story about Jesus Christ. Word for word. So she said, but Mr. Raymond, I said, Miss Kathy, this is not the story of Jesus Christ. I'm just showing you where they stole the story of Jesus Christ. And it messed her up. I mean, it really messed her up because she had no idea. So think about how shocking this is. I'm a pastor. I'm a Pentecostal pastor. Everybody believes. See, that's how dangerous believing is. I speak in tongues. She never spoke in no tongues. Okay? And now I'm finding out that the Jesus Christ, I'll tell you like she says it. Jesus Christ is her first husband, like she told me. And she's been married 5 times. Well, she's been married 6 times, I can't remember. I didn't say this to her. But out of the 6 husbands you got, including Jesus, the only one that's right for you is the one you got now. Even Jesus is the wrong husband for you. What Jesus gonna do for you? You need a man. And that's the problem with a lot of black women. Jesus Christ is their husband. Jesus Christ never existed. That's proof, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, so if you want to pull it up, matter of fact, I'll attach it. Do it now. Messed her up. There it is. It's attached right here. All you have to do is copy it and bring it up. Start reading in between pages 370 and 400. Come back in the comments, tell me if you don't hear anything about Jesus Christ. Okay? So, matter of fact, hold on. There was something in here. I couldn't highlight it and I didn't. If you read it, now, let's see. Okay. This is my point. I'm glad I thought about this because we're getting ready to go. I keep emphasizing that I am not anti-Christ. I am not anti-Bible. I am anti-Christ, which means before. And I am anti-Bible, which means before, meaning I know the story of Jesus Christ and the Bible before there was a Jesus Christ or a Bible. And it's right here. And if you read down through here, the Dead Sea Scrolls really qualify what's in the Bible because it stole it from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay? But what disqualifies it is the Dead Sea Scrolls and all of these other books and tablets were never historical. They were mythical. Oh, I'll give you these couple things and I want to go. All right. And I'll do more on this down the road, but I want to give this to you so that you can think about it. There were, in the Bible, there were two men that got to go to heaven and didn't die. You remember who they are? Elijah. Who else? Enoch. Right? The two men that God granted entry into heaven before death were never seen again. The two witnesses. Okay. We never got to hear what they saw. Nothing. Okay. But why is the book of Enoch? And when you get into it, the reason Enoch was chosen or allowed into heaven before he died is because he was so faithful. And I don't have it up here. He was so faithful and compliant to God. Okay. But the Catholics removed his book from the Bible. Why? They discredited it. They just discredited all by themselves the book of Enoch, who was chosen by God because of his faithfulness and righteousness, and allowed him into heaven before he died. And the Catholic Church said, no, 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 no. The book of Enoch is not reliable. Somebody lying. Okay? And then when you get into the book of Enoch, and I think it's the book of Giants, it tells you that hell is not this everlasting place of fire and pain and suffering like the Catholic Church is selling. That's why they took it out. And they had a couple other reasons. I think it discredited some of the, well, anything that discredited the birth, the life, and the presentation that Jesus Christ is the Son of God and your only Savior, your only way out is Him, had to come out of that Bible. Okay, but look it up. Matter of fact, not just the book of Enoch, all of the apocryphal books, they weren't removed from all of the Bibles. They're still in the Ethiopian Bible. They're still in a lot of the other denomination Bibles. Matter of fact, I think it's still in the Catholic Church Bible. Okay, so how many different standards does Christianity have? All of them can't be right. All of them can be wrong. Think about it. Why are so many different versions of, there's only supposed to be one form of Christianity. There's only supposed to be one form of salvation. There's only supposed to be one Savior. Well, how many different versions of it do you have? It's not a problem. It is. Okay? Because they keep people in that low realm of understanding within their circle. On the Olympics, you know, they have 5 rings, 5 circles, and they're all joined because it's all about what's in your circle. Just thought about that. I mean, it's not something I didn't know, but it was something I thought I could show you. It's all about your circles. They have circles in church. This is my circle over here. Get out of these circles. You don't need to fit in a circle. You need to be the square that the circle can't fit in. I'm the square. I don't want to be in a circle. Just pointing these things out. Okay, so Okay, one more thing. In the book of the Giants, then we're going to go. In the book of the Giants, they talk about the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki, you see, the book of the Anunnaki are in I think it's in the Sumerian tablets. In the Bible, I'm pretty sure that the fallen angels are in the book of the Giants, okay? So there's a correlation between the fallen angels and the Anunnaki. The fallen angels have supposed to have come from heaven. The Anunnaki, and this is what I need you to understand. The Anunnaki, the way it's told in the Sumerian tablets is, they're from another planet that is similar to Earth. And the way that this mythology is told is that there are a lot of planets out there that have life forms like Earth that they mess up. They destroy it. So they have to leave their home planet and go to, what do they call it? Oh, an escape planet, and survive until their planet restores itself. Okay, so the Anunnaki in the Sumerian tablets are the fallen angels in the Bible. The Anunnaki come here, they fall in love with women, like the fallen angels in the Bible. They create another race, and all of these things. It's the same story. Okay, why is this important? What is Elon Musk doing? He wants to colonize Mars. Well, first of all, black people should never want to be involved in anything else dealing with being colonized. We had enough of that stuff. You should never get us again with a colonization or a boat. I ain't getting on that boat. Okay, so what I'm seeing Elon Musk doing and the governments collectively to colonize Mars is the same thing and the same story that's being told in the Sumerian tablets. They are going to have an escape planet for them to survive for X thousands of years and come back after Earth has repaired itself. Per mythology, it's happened many times before. You remember when I was talking about astrology and each zodiac sign having lasting 2,160 years, and if you multiply 2,160 years by 12 months or 12 zodiacs, it comes out to 25,920 years. That's the cycle of the universe. Okay. How many cycles of the universe does it take for a planet to repair itself? It's all about nature. It's all about these things. So we're getting ready to stop it. I'm probably over my 50 minutes. But think about these things. Stop believing, man. All right? We deserve to know. All right? I'm going to say Ashe. Oh, thanks everybody for subscribing, liking, and sharing. Subscribers numbers are growing. I'm talking to my brother Francis in Ghana, and I'll talk to my sister Tracy in Kenya, and we're going to talk about trying to set up a way that they can have a computer there with friends that want to join in, and people in Kenya can have computers that can join in, and we do something together. All right, because my brother Francis says, man, I want to get started, and we want to get started. Okay, well, we're gonna do that. I was down for a week, but I'm back. Okay, Ashe, and have a great day. I needed to add this because when I was editing this, I had cut out a little bit of more than what I needed. When I was speaking of my friend, and we were talking about drinking the deadly poisons, and he brought up the scriptures, 1 Thessalonians and Acts, and using Paul to explain what Mark is saying Jesus said about drinking deadly poisons, okay? And the scriptures that he was sending me were all about hell and how hard hell is and how much you're gonna suffer, and boogeyman, when we are showing believers things that contradict the construct of their belief system, that goes against it, it is compelling. Okay, it is objective evidence. It's not just evidence, it's concrete evidence. The disputes what you believe and what you say and what you will do, because you won't drink that poisons. Okay, so when a person, or how when I explain about Abraham in Galatians 4 verses 22 through 24, where he says which things are an allegory. When you look up the definition of allegory, allegory is a made-up story or poem to make an example for political reasons. Well, it means Paul is a politician. What do politicians do? They lie. What is the age of Pisces? The age of deception. When you start showing people these kind of things, and they can't answer it, or they can't show supporting evidence that is directly disputing what you're saying, they're going to start showing you verses about you going to hell. When I was showing you these things that on a day or two after that one of my best friends is sending me, and I'm saying, why is he sending me these things and verses about how hell is hotter than a roach, and you know, and I'm getting messages that are saying, well, we'll soon find out. And what was one of his other messages? Well, at least I'm not going to hell. Okay, when believers and Christians run out of everything else and they start turning to you, telling you, well, you're going to hell for that. You're going to hell for not being a believer. Because his point was, you just don't want to believe. And I'm saying, no, I don't want to believe. And now that I'm out of believing that believing is enough, I'm finding out I never should have believed. So when we start showing people and our evidence and their replies stop becoming any evidence of support, and they're showing you evidence of you going to hell. Okay, you're going to burn in fire. They're desperate. My point is, they're desperate then. Okay, because they're letting you know is, well, at least they're telling you that at least they don't have to worry about burning in a fire. Okay, and you are gonna find out when you are in that fire, because you don't want to believe. I wanted to come back and put that in because I have been saying that this is not a faith-based belief system. It is a fear-based belief system. There's the evidence. Okay, there is no way that, okay, one of the other things that he said was, I'm not so stupid that I would drink deadly poisons. And I said, wait a minute now. And these are all in back and forth text messages, right? I was like, wait a minute. Now you're saying that the word of God is stupid? I was having fun with him because now you are saying that the red letter words written in accordance with the Gospel of Mark that Jesus said, you just said it. You just said that they're stupid. Okay, so that's when I knew I had to shut it down. I was like, okay, all right, now I got it. You're now just only going to show me scriptures of how much punishment I'm going to receive because I don't believe, and I'm showing you that you don't believe because you won't drink deadly poison, but I'm the one that's going to go to hell. You're not going to go to hell because you won't drink this deadly poison. All right, I needed to come back and put that in. Ashe, and have a blessed day.